What's going on, guys?
It's me,
RedPillCanuck, back again with another video. And today, we're doing another Dave Ramsey reaction video. And this one is a little bit unique, to say the least. Let's get into the show.
Never break, always fight, never quit, do it right, play the game, win it life, have no shame, there's no time, feel the pain, live the grind.
Well, as you could see, we are doing Dave Ramsey today. There we go. Jeez. Well, it's going to be one of those videos, guys. So, as I said in the intro, we're going to be doing a Dave Ramsey reaction video. And today is basically, the title is, My Husband is Changing Genders. What should I do? Should I stay married or not? Yep. It's one of those situations. But of course, with all Dave Ramsey videos, if you don't know who Dave Ramsey is, he is a financial advisor. He does have a channel here on YouTube, and his work is awesome. But he is renowned to copyright strike some other creators that does reviews on his things. So we're doing things a little bit different here, but of course we're going to invoke our fair use clause here. Absurd to copyright material. And let's give this a little thing here. There we go. Absurd to copyright material may under circumstance be quoted verbatim for purposes of such as criticism, news reporting, teaching, and research without the need for information from the payment of the copyright holder. I actually did that in one breath. I want to give a special shout out to CGA for coming up with this this fair use thing. I did kind of borrow it from him. So special shout out to Coach Greg Adams for allowing me to come up with this. Jeez. Okay, so there we go. So we're back to the Dave Ramsey wallpaper. So yeah, this is going to be a little bit of a unique video. So even though I did my fair use sometimes, it does not work. But so far, what are my other Dave Ramsey videos, I've been okay. So what we do is we actually play the audio here. Dave is just sitting at his desk anyway, so you're not really missing anything. But yeah, let's get into the caller here.
Victoria is in Louisville, Kentucky to start off today. Hi, Victoria. How can we help?
Hi, guys. Thanks so much for taking my call. I have just really complicated situation. I'm going to try to distill down to make the most of this call, but potential separation coming up with my husband. He's active duty military, and he makes a good living, and I work part-time and homeschool. And just facing, if we were to, separate, that, we've been making great traction together, and besides all the emotional stuff and everything, but I've got him on board with Dave Ramsey and Chris Hogan, and we've been paying down almost $50,000 of debt in the past 3 years, and basically I'll go down to just making probably bill money, and
Okay, you know what? I'm going to give them a round of applause here because they have been paying their debts, and it's rare with these sort of shows or these sort of calls where actually people have been paying off their debts, because usually people call to need help with their debts. So I feel that I owe them a round of applause for that. So yeah, let's continue.
I'm just wondering how I can prepare for that. And we talked about maybe staying together just for a financial thing, but like not being, he would be a geographical bachelor. I wouldn't PCS with him anymore. So just wondering what your advice might be on that.
Well, I'm sorry. I'm sorry you guys are facing this. I would, number one, if you're facing something this serious, you need to get a pro in your corner. And that means you guys need to be sitting down with a good, strong marriage counselor who...
No. Okay, Dave, you give a lot of good advice, But you know what? I notice a lot of call-in shows. They always are quick to go to a marriage counselor. Now, not to rag on the profession or on the field or on the expertise, but 9 times out of 10, marriage counselors do not work, and they usually take a side. And usually it's a side of the female. So she actually might have lucked out there. But me personally, honestly, if you have feelings that you are, you know what, you're not happy anymore, and by the way, this is not any sort of marriage advice. I don't give that because I am not able to give. This is just experiences I heard from friends and as well as myself. Marriage counselors don't usually work. As long as somebody taps out in the marriage, that's pretty much done. Like, honestly, there's no really there's no really coming back. Once one person feels a certain way, what makes you think going to a marriage counselor is really going to help? Because feelings are going to come out. Can you really look at the person the same way? I don't know. I'm just asking for a friend. Can you really look that person in the same light that you seen him before you went to the counselor? But anyway, that's neither here or there, but that's just my take on it. Let's continue.
Who can coach you guys through how to make good, wise decisions. I didn't hear anything, just from a common sense perspective, healthy about you guys staying married just for financial purposes. That's weird.
Yeah.
Seriously? You're staying married just for financial? What is this, a business deal? Okay, I know back in the days, like, marriages were a financial thing where I would give you some land or some goats to harvest. Can goats even harvest? Jesus. There goes my homestead abilities. But, like, honestly, like, in this day and age where apparently marriage has been sold on so-called quote-unquote love, yeah, no. You can't go from that to a fight. Just, you know what? Just a business deal. That ain't gonna work. Trust me. When it's time to tap out, you just gotta haul gas and just run away. Like, you gotta get out of there. Like, it just don't make sense. Like, anyway, that's my take on it. Jeez. Let's continue.
Yeah, I thought so too.
Yeah, that just sounds weird. That's just a guy talking. I'm not a professional, but I mean, it's just sounds weird. So,
because we still love each other. It's just he's kind of like, there's so many good things, but he's decided to change genders. So I would love to say, you know, hey, let's be friends for the rest of our lives that are married, but that.
Seriously? Okay, no offense to the LGBTQ whatever community. Please don't come after me. Pause. But once a person makes a life-changing surgery, such as changing genders, which means they probably thought about this a long time, or they were never comfortable in their own gender to begin with, why would you still want to be married to that person? What are you going to do? Cut costs and share dresses together? Like, that's just... I'm not trying to offend... You know what? I'm gonna have to do this, guys. I didn't think it was gonna... I never done this on a Dave Ramsey video, but I'm gonna have to provoke my viewer discretion. Viewer discretion is advised. You chose to listen to this video Here at the Red Pill Canuck channel, we do not invoke any hate or harm against anybody's life choices, gender, creed, or any of the facts. So if you're gonna feel offended, I know we're like 10 minutes into this video. Jesus. But if you feel uncomfortable at this point, I think it's just, I'll give you a second to think about it. Okay, I think that was long enough. I didn't think it was long enough, so whoever didn't feel comfortable probably logged off already. Click to another video. There's cat videos out there where you can watch. But anyway, wow. I didn't expect that. Well, yeah, I did kind of expect it, but I didn't expect her response that she's still, I don't know. Anyway, let's continue.
It just seems weird, right? Yeah.
Yeah. Staying married in that situation is going to be very strange. And so, I think someone coaching you, a good counselor, can coach you through how to set some, processes and boundaries in place to, to create a timeline.
You don't need a counselor for that, Dave, bruh. You don't need a counselor for that. It's straightforward. The man is changing into a XX. He is changing into a female. The marriage is completely over. The marriage is done. It is tapped out. It is completed. It is over. It's done. There's no counselor needed to manage anything. Just part ways, and that's it. There's no way this marriage is going to be saved. That's just my opinion. It's not my advice, because obviously I can't give any. But, yeah. This marriage is pretty much, it's pretty much done. You don't need no counselor for this one. No, you don't need one. But that's just me.
And then, even though this sounds, you said all the emotions are there, but it also sounds like you guys are just talking about this all still, in terms of, you've got a good dialogue going, it sounds like, so that's good.
Yeah.
But even in that good situation, as good a situation as it can be in a bad situation, you still, once you decide to divorce, the transaction changes to a business transaction.
Right.
And it doesn't mean you have to be mean to someone because it's a bit.
Okay, you know what? Right there, I do agree with Dave. After the divorce, he is right. It does become a business transaction because obviously you guys are dividing the properties and whatnot. While you were married and having it a business transaction, no, definitely not. But during a divorce, yes. And he is right. It doesn't mean you have to be mean to each other. You don't have to basically go and hate each other. You can still be amicable and still get things sorted out. But yeah, before, definitely nah. You can't run this as a financial thing before, but after, I do understand his point.
This transaction, but you have to be thorough and you have to think through the math. Like, for instance, he has an income and you don't. How much debt is left? Whose name is on the debt? Is there a house involved? All these kinds of things start to be a business transaction that have to be done on the very, very clear boundaries. We see this a lot.
We really do. And Victoria, one thing I want to suggest, and by no way am I saying I'm a marriage therapist, but at the same time, let's not prolong it. Let's have a honest conversation, like Dave said. Are we going to do this, or are we not? And once you decide what you're going to do, then y'all need to go down that path with the right counsel. One thing I have seen is a lot of people prolong this situation out, and then it gets worse and it gets worse down the road. So have the conversation.
That actually is very true, and I'm gonna have to give him a round of applause for that one because I know he actually deserves that. Because once you know a marriage has already tapped out, at least one person is not happy anymore, the marriage is done. So it's no use dragging it along, especially if you guys are still, still speaking together. You guys have no ill will against each other. That's the best time to basically go out and say, okay, this is how we can get things done, and hash things out and just go your separate ways. You don't want to let it stew and marinate, and then the hate is going to start to develop, and then it's going to be a little bit harder on both parties to actually come to an amicable agreement. So he is right. Just nip it in the butt. As long as you guys are both on the same page, that's the best time to do it. Instead of you guys hating each other and then doing stupid things. And I'm talking about males and females. I've actually been to family court, for instance. Not me personally. I don't have any kids that I know of. I'm just kidding. But seriously, because basically in the field that I'm in, I've been to a family court, and I've seen people be very vindictive, men and women, against each other. And even in regards to divorce, the most pettiest things are fought over just to get on the other person's skin. So if you're gonna if you guys are on the same page, best thing to do is just, hash something out, go your separate ways, live your lives, and yeah, that's it. Let's continue.
Decide what you're going to do, and then once you get there, immediately seek out wise counsel to walk you all through this step. But I gotta say, awesome job with at least being kind to each other in the midst of this process.
Yeah.
See?
So,
exactly.
In other words, if your name is on a debt and he is obligated to pay it in the divorce decree and does not, they do not come after him. The divorce decree does not remove you from liability. You're still liable for that debt. That's what I mean by a business transaction. You've got to sit down and think about those kinds of things so that these debts anything's got your name on it gets cleared. The second thing you've got to do is you got to get in Ken Coleman's materials, because you're going to have to develop a career track.
Yeah.
Part-time and stay-at-home mom is not in your future anymore.
Actually, I did forget to mention that as well, and I forgot to comment on that. So apparently the husband was looks like he was the breadwinner of the household. So yeah, she definitely is going to have to start working. I don't know if that's going to change her decision on what she's going to do, especially what Dave's saying about the whole debt situation. It'd be very interesting to see what her decision would actually be.
You're now a single mom, divorced. And so what are you going to do with your life? And what's your career look like? What's your job look like? And, you got to get on that really fast, because you're going to need an income. Yes, you're going to get child support. Yes, you may get some alimony. Yeah. Yes, he may pick up a lot of the bills. But you've still got to create a full-time income in this situation to exist.
And Dave, correct me if I'm wrong, but now that child becomes her number one priority, it's no longer him.
Sure.
Yeah. Yeah.
No, I mean, that would be
obvious, but
it was that is the way it has to go. It has to be that way. One of the things that I see, Anthony, that divorce attorneys make a huge mistake on quite often is, or couples do, and the divorce attorneys allow it to happen, just as a matter of transaction, is, say a typical case study might be, husband leaves the household,
okay,
they get divorced, mom is left with the house, and most of the time has a lesser income. That's not a statement of that's what she deserves, it's a statement of fact.
Right.
Okay? Most of the time she has a lesser income and can't afford the house payment.
Right.
But is trying to hold on to the house to keep it stable for the kids. And the house should have just been sold.
Yeah.
Well, it's not only being stable for the kids. I don't disagree with that, but usually it's because she either can't afford another place to live, because in this case she was a stay-at-home mom taking care of the kids, so she doesn't have a career. Or it also could be that, she just feels that she deserved the house even though she can't afford it. So there's a lot of things that actually comes into play when it comes to these sort of things. So she's going to have to obviously think this through before she makes whatever decision she's going to have to make.
And to get the bill off of her. She does not need that bill to go with her new level of responsibility financially that she's got to pick up now. That's thing one. Thing two is that from a husband's perspective, the lawyer tells him in that case, in the case where he's leaving the house to her, to quit claim the house over to her. Give up his ownership. And they never address the fact that he's still on the mortgage.
Right.
And so he's liable on the mortgage. So he gave up the asset and kept the liability.
Yes.
And then he goes to buy another house someday.
And he can't.
And he can't because he already owns a house.
Yes.
As far as the...
Especially if she defaults on the payment. And again, a lot of times, the wife or the female, if it's we'll say if it's common law, usually if they're granted the property and they can't afford it, where do you think everything goes? The liabilities, the debt, everything of that house, it goes to the man. And he doesn't even pay attention to it because he trusts his lawyer. Now, I'm obviously not ragging on the legal profession. I'm not going to. But sometimes Dave is right. Sometimes they don't pay attention to those minor details for their clients. They're just basically looking at the ching, 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 ching. Trust me, watch Divorce Corp. A few creators have done a breakdown on that video, but trust me, when you watch that video, trust me, you ain't gonna want to get married.
The debt goes.
Yeah.
He's already in debt on that other house. He's not been released from liability. So in that case, I would, if I were going through that, I would require that the house either be sold or refinanced and gotten out of his name.
Yes.
In that case, to protect him and let him go on with his life. And here's a hint. If she can't afford to refinance it, that means she can't afford to keep it.
She needs to sell it.
That's right.
There you go. You know what? That is very, very true. And like I said, that's what usually happens 9 times out of 10. But based on what I've seen, the female usually gets the house because she has the kid. The judge doesn't want her to be living on the street. But if she can't pay for it, then it's definitely time to sell it. Definitely time to sell it. Quite an interesting one, to say the least. Quite interesting. But yeah, let me know what your thoughts on this one is, because it's quite an unusual reason to get divorced. Let me know in the comments below what you would do if your significant other decided to change their gender. What would you do, and how would you handle it? And would you tap out of the marriage? Me personally, I figure after, once that's done, the marriage is pretty much already tapped out. And yeah, but that's just me. Let me know in the comments below. That's going to be today. I can't even talk. That's going to be it for today's video. Make sure you do the usual YouTube stuff, and I will see you guys in the next one. Later.
I never miss, that's fact. Taking big swings, put your hand to the bat. Put me in the ring, you'll go out in a bag. Cause I sing what I mean and I bring it to the mad light. Ain't got time to kill, I got time to feel. I took a red pill, I know life's short so I wanna live real. But how's it supposed to feel?